Record starts in 3, 2, 1. Wala paghihapon si Neil. Hello, Ma'am Rabs. Shout
Hello,
out.
ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
So, now we will discuss the history. Ay, wala pa rin si Neil. Okay na? Yot, makadungog ka?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. So, we'll start. Today, we will discuss the history of astronomy. This discussion will include those theories and discoveries formulated or discovered in the past up until the present. We will also discuss the Big Bang Theory, which is ang tawag ana?
Widely accepted.
Na
Yes.
origin sa universe na theory. Okay. If we talk about the timeline in astronomy, it describes or it talks about how theories and discoveries develop and change over time as new technology allows for more accurate observations. Junay?
So, in the time of Plato, 428 to 347 BC, it was argued that the sphere and the circle were perfect shapes because of their symmetry, and then the heavens, being the creation of the God, would have to be perfect. And the heavens were assumed to contain spheres in uniform or constant speed and perfect. And then the circular motions on the earth was the center of motion, or also referred as geocentric. And
Ge?
then
Ge. Ipilit ka, Ge.
So after Aristotle,
Plato. Plato
I
to.
after Plato, Aristotle and Alexander in 280 BC. So he introduces a competing theory. Uh, Suggested that Earth revolves around the sun, heliocentric. So it means the center is the sun. So however, he still believes in the idea that all planets are perfect spheres and travel around the sun in perfect circular orbits, and the stars are fixed or on great celestial spheres. So that was according to in astronomy.
So in the year 240 BC, Eratosthenes of Cyrene, known as now Shihat in Libya, he measures the circumference of Earth with surprising accuracy, and also the importance of this is to realize that the ancients believed in a spherical Earth. However, out of the Dark Ages and into the Middle Ages, Western Europe believed that the Earth was flat.
So, diri na dahil nag-start, no? Ano mga, sa tawag na anak nila?
Flat
Mga
Earthers.
flat earthers.
Saan
Giyasa
kayo?
man na,
Dito pala.
giyasa man na nila pag, kaano, pag, kanang, imagine nga
Puno
flat earth.
um,
Okay, and then, next.
next is Ptolemy. He developed the geocentric theory, which is the state that Earth is the center of the universe. So he writes the Almagest, which tells us that the Western European world accepted the theory that the motto Earth is the center of the universe. Then the stars are in fixed of celestial spheres, and all the planets and celestial spheres move in a perfect circular motions. This theory of Ptolemy is being accepted for 13 centuries.
I-continue. Tapos, after,
Most importantly, he tries to explain the motion of the Mars and other planets using epicycles. So, epicycles is ano siya, small orbit. Ano?
okay. And then, naday tayo na miss. Founded in 283 BC, the Library of Alexandria is accepted as the leading center of knowledge, housing more than 500,000 books. The Library of Alexandria held over 500,000 documents from Assyria, Greece, Persia, Egypt, India, and many other nations. Over 100 scholars lived at the museum full-time to perform research, write, lecture, or translate and copy documents. So, sa panahon or in 283 BC, naa sila'y tinatawag na Library of Alexandria. But on 415, ang katong Library of Alexandria, murag ginaturing to siya as murag center gani sa kuhaanan og knowledge kay didto ginaimbak ang mga current studies sa katong nga panahon. But in 415 AD, the final destruction of the Library of Alexandria along with the loss of most of the knowledge stored there. So katong 415 AD na guba ra pud siya. And sa iyang pagkaguba na dala niya ang mga katong mga naipon na studies and researches that time. After is
After is the ano na siya, din na ang Age of Darkness, an age of very little intellectual advancements due to fall of Roman Empire, then barbaric intrusions and warfare. And then 1492, Christopher Columbus sails the ocean blue, and at that point, everyone that thought that the Earth was flat.
wait, balik sa ta dito sa Age of Darkness.
Hmm.
Namoy mga laing ano murag prior knowledge about the Age of Darkness. So, the Age of Darkness, murag gituring siya nga nag-decline, di ba? Katong before ani nga time kay paspas kaayo ang ilahang murag discoveries. Daghan kaayo naga-formulate of theories. But wait lang. King. Pero kung sarado. So, di ba paspas ilahang development pero pag abot aning pag-fall sa Roman Empire, murag diri na tong mga kusog kayo ang gera, gani mga kanang say tawag ana kanang sakop-sakop pa. So, nawala ang attention in developing murag kanang sa mga scientific researches gani nila that day I mean that year. Tama na, lang. So, magsugod na ta sa katong sa tong giingon ni Mams, si Christopher Columbus. So, namin siya sa 15th century.
1492.
15th century, okay.
So in 15...
Sige, go.
So, mauna tayo nahitabo sa 14... Mauna tayo nahitabo sa 1492. Naglakbay na si Christopher Columbus. Kinsa gani? Christopher Columbus daw ang naka-discover sa Amerika.
Oo, murag siya tong giingon Columbus, okay. America.
Sige, go na ta.
Go. So in 1543, this was the time when Copernicus writes the book De Revolutionibus, which introduces the competing theory to the geocentric theory, and that is the heliocentric theory. Ano ba? So in this, he believes that the sun to be the center of the universe. Stars are fixed on the celestial spheres, and all the planets and the celestial spheres move in perfect circular motion. So diri ana to nagsugod ang idea nga ang sun jud ang center of the universe and not the earth. Also, most importantly, he introduced a competing idea for the motion of Mars.
Mao na ni.
Dili na nagsugod tong murag karon nga ginatuohan na tong idea that not dili ang earth jud ang center sa universe but ang sun.
Wait lang. Tama ay si Copernicus ba tong estudyante or siya ang katong kinsahan itong isa katao pod
Katong teacher,
oh
Si Kepler man to yata.
si
Estudyante ni Tycho Brahe.
ha
Si Kepler
si,
yung
si,
estudyante ni
si
Tycho
Brahe
Brahe.
si Brahe ang teacher.
Oo.
Okay, sige. So si Copernicus ang estudyante.
dili
Dili,
Ah,
si
dili,
Kepler.
Kepler to. Kepler
Patay na si Copernicus ato nga time.
Ay, sorry.
Like,
assistant.
Sige, move
Ano ni
on.
Brahe si Kepler.
si Kepler ang student ni Brahe.
Si
Oh.
Kepler na ito. Sorry. Sorry.
Oh, so ikaw na
next,
sa
next in 1551, Leonard Digges invented the theodolite, and from the writings of his son, it was passively used as a telescope, which would make Leonard the inventor of the first telescope. In 1576, he comments on his father's writing and put the heliocentric into stars of infinite space and not celestial spheres. To do this, he must taken the astronomical instrument. Then, did he use the studied theodolite studying sky? None of his writings suggest that, though sa iyang writing, wala niya gibutang dito na gagamit siya theodolite. Theodolite. Theodolite is siya, mura siya small rotating ganing object nga naga-observe sa sky, mura siya. So but wala either kay Digges or sa iyang papa, wala sila na tagaan og credit for the inventing of telescope.
Okay.
Basta mo.
So, next. After, kinsa to? Leonard Digges. Digges?
Digges.
Digges?
Ambot.
Thomas
Brahe.
Can, basta Digges or D. Basta,
DG.
in 1576, iyahan na pong anak ang nagpasikat. Charot. Iyahan na pong anak ang naay discovery. Si Thomas Digges is a known mathematician and as well as an astronomer. So, nag-start siya on commenting on his father's writings, and he also put the heliocentric model into stars of infinite space and not celestial spheres. So gi-insist niya na instead atong idea ni Copernicus na murag fixed gani ang path, kay gi-propose niya nga sa to ay first is, di ba, nag-comment siya sa writing sa iyang papa, siya, murag i-follow niya ang writing sa iyang papa, and then siya pud ang first nga murag gi-explain paganig maayo ang heliocentric theory ni Copernicus into English. And then he was the first to accept and defend the proposal that the sun is the center of the solar system. So murag nahulog nga gi-propose ni Copernicus ang heliocentric theory, si Thomas Digges gi-support niya ang theory ni Copernicus. And then the Earth is a planet Earth. In 1576, he published a new edition of his father's almanac, in which Leonard had included a traditional diagram of a geocentric universe. At the end of the almanac, Thomas attached a short appendix, a perfect description of the celestial orbs, advocating the heliocentric system that Nicolaus Copernicus had first proposed in 1543. He also included a large diagram sa iyang almanac of the Copernican system, which first appeared in English. Ano to?
Ma'am.
1577. So, kay Tycho Brahe. And then,
Dili pa na ito si Tycho Brahe.
Shock ba si Copernicus?
so,
Shock si Ma'am.
he spends 20 years of his life studying and measuring planetary movements and motion of the stars. And then observes comet over a year's time. Then using parallax, Tycho proves through observation, measurements, and mathematics that Thomas Diggs was correct. And the stars are not fixed in celestial pairs. So, siya man to ang naka-develop in late 1570s sa kuan gyapon siya naga-base sa geocentric system, 'di ba? And then which is ang system is ang sun ug moon ug ang stars kay naga-circle lang siya sa central earth, and then the five planets kay naga-orbit lang siya sa sun. So ito yung na-develop in late 1570s. And then Otto siya. Ang nagapadayon kay si Kepler.
Mhm.
Ay, hindi.
Si Kepler na Angeli.
Johannes
Wala-wala ang tingog yun ang gino.
Yeah.
Ako,
Ayo kay siya. Nya mawala-wala.
Hindi, drama ni Magi.
Wala to nadunggan ang gi. Sige, padayon lang gi.
Johannes Kepler is manisang Tycho Brahe. So, ano sila is kanang mga as bali assistant ni si Kepler kay Brahe. Pero si Brahe is kanang murag iyahang murag kanang misunderstanding nila yung duha kay murag nahadlok si Brahe nga nang malungkot siya ni tumutong si Kepler na lahi siya hindi gamit lang to prove that planet revolves perfect lang siya. Dili Namor siya ganun sa then discovery.
Mana kagi? So in the year 1577 to 1600,
Nagkisa nang naisaba kayo.
So, ito pa, i-mute na lang sa nako right lang.
murag kulba kaya kung sa ako ana.
Okay, go.
Sige. In the years 1577 to 1600s, dili na nga time nga nagkahinay-hinay na jud og ka-fall down tong idea sa geocentric nga theory. Dira na siya nagkaanam-anam nga nagka-fall down. Theory begins to fall apart due to accurate observation made possible through improvements of the tools used to make astronomical measurements. So katong mga efforts nga gibuhat nila Diggs, nila Kepler, nila Brahe, diri na to nagbunga tong murag mas gina-accept na sa mga tao nga ang kuan jud nga ang sun is the center of the universe and not the earth. Tapos diri na po dila na prove nga Stars are no longer fixed in a crystal spheres. Unya, the planets travel in elliptical orbits, not in perfect circular orbits. So di na to katong mga murag dili na siguro nagsugod tong idea ni Kepler katong sa planetary motion. And then ito. Demo pa ko ninyo.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
may-
yes.
Yes.
Then, in 1608, Daria is si Hans Lippershey or Lippershey, ano
Lippershey.
siya, officially
Lippershey.
recorded to have invented the telescope. So, that time, he claimed that the device could magnify an object 3 times. So, his telescope na siya ay concave eyepiece aligned with a convex objective lens. So, but there is a story nga hindi daw si Lippershey,
Lippershey.
Lippershey, kay iya daw gi-stole or gikawat daw niya
Lippershey.
ang
Lippershey.
ang design daw ni Zacharias Jansen kay ano man si Lippershey og si Jansen kay ano ni siya ba they both live in the same town and both work on making optical instrument.
Di ba
So,
si Johnson ba po ba tong na credit for ano microscope?
microscope, oh.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Padayon say.
Though however, scholars generally agree na wala joy tinuod nga evidence nga si Lippershey there is no real evidence that Lippershey did not develop his telescope independently. So, murag na dapat nagyud siya o ganang murag ano ba? Dili lang jud siya ang naghimo fully sa telescope.
Na-appreciate ko.
Okay. So murag what's the thesis? Asa la issue sa una? Ano tayo labot ana? Di na tayo labot ana. Yung nag-away na ka na sila ron.
Patay naman sila yun.
Gani, kung nag-abot sila bisag kung asa man sila ron, nag-abot kaya sila. Nagunsa kaya sila no? Unsa kay reaction ni? Unsa kay reaction ni Lippershey na niya? Nga si Johnson ang mas na-credit sa telescope. Ay, no, baliktad. Unsay reaction ni Johnson nga si Lippershey ang most credited sa telescope. Tama ba? Okay, after ako na. Ako na sunod. Asa na ta? Si Lippershey ka, quiz.
Yes.
So, in 1609, si Galileo Galilei invented a new and improved model of Hans telescope. He also introduced the law of motion called inertia. Pero dili sa nato nahilabtan na inertia kay mga physics na. So sa astronomy, ang iyang great or one of his contributions is that nag-improvise or nag-invent siyang improvise sa tawag na version sa telescope Nansen. And also atong mga panahon na the discovery of the moons orbiting Jupiter proves that the Earth is not the center around which all objects. So hantud ay diri gina-dis gihapon nila ang geocentric model. Wala pa gid sila na kontento nga na propose na ang heliocentric model. Hantud karon, hantud aning panahon na ginatira gihapon nila. Luya sa nag-propose sa geocentric. Pero these theories or these ideas help or kanang proved nga naga-develop ang knowledge sa mga tao about the about astronomy. Mao ni ang naga-prove nga naga-develop gid ang idea. So Galileo is a remarkable man. After stating that the sun was the center of our universe, the church held him under house arrest. So, di ba mauna siya tonggi lason? Tama ba? He died
Ano
under
ba
house
dito?
arrest in such great
Oo.
pain from arthritis that even his guards pleaded with their superiors to give them another assignment. Though Galileo recanted his theory and proofs, he continued to study the planets and sun. He died knowing that what he knew to be true was being suppressed and he could do nothing about it. He must have wondered on his deathbed how long before they accept the truth. Char. Bisag wala ko na hunahunaan is Galileo, Char.
Ang buot-buot mo, ha?
So, nagbutbuot. So, ang ideas ni Galileo Galilei kay nakita as murag against the church beliefs, no? So, gikulong siya because kuan ba ya to murag say tawagan ni anang murag superior pa ang church ato nga time.
Yeah.
Church. Mm-mm.
So, dapat
Superior.
ang beliefs jud sa church ang dapat masunod. So,
Tuuhan.
anyone nga mo go against the ideas of the church will be held as a prisoner, or worse is dead ka. Okay. So far mao pa ni, and then mao pa ni ana sa atong kopya na i-check ra gud ninyo ang chat na nag-send ko og links about sa history, I mean sa discoveries sa 19th century kani sa ato ang i-discuss. Pwede na pa by time?
Ano po, kani nga ano?
Wait lang. Royal Museums Greenwich. Nag-open na mo kana una.
Yeah, yeah.
Na-open na mo kana una sa nga link ha kanang rmg.co.uk. Wait lang.
Kumita pa ko.
Ang isa ka, di na ako ma-open sa gikan sa Zoom.
Hindi lagi na ako ma-open. Ano?
Tanang sa Messenger, moms.
Gisend po na ko sa Messenger.
Kaning 19th century?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait lang.
Wait ha. Napatay daghang time.
Wala ka balo. Saan dito oras ng start?
Lasan ko kabantay. Okay, naka-open na mo tanan sa link.
Dinay pa. Hindi ako ma-open.
Na-open na.
Ako pa ko ka-open. Dinay kayong net sa globe.
So, astronomy in the 19th century.
Sorry.
19th century astronomers went beyond cataloging the skies to understanding their composition and predicting what could not be seen. Where 18th century astronomy could be characterized by precise measurement and position and the classification of heavenly bodies, the 19th century saw astronomy applying developments in math, physics, chemistry, and geology to understand the makeup of these bodies and the origins of the universe. Astronomers were now interested in finding out exactly what a star, comet, or planet consisted of and how each was formed. Spectroscopy. We only have 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
I-discuss na lang nato ang Big Bang Theory. Oy.
Yeah.
Big Bang Theory na lang ta dito sa PDF na to. Ma'am, ay naka-problema anang link nga dili ma-open dito na to sa PDF.
Until now, pa siya na-open.
PDF na lang ta kay we only have more than 9 minutes. Okay. So, the
So,
Big
wala
Bang
na to?
Theory
Yes.
is hantod karon the widely accepted theory about the origins of the universe. So, the prevailing cosmology it is the prevailing cosmological model that describes the early development of the universe. universe, on this theory, it says that universe was once in an extremely hot and dense state. After its initial expansion from a singularity, the universe cooled sufficiently to allow energy to be converted into various subatomic particles. So, ang murag beginning gid aning Big Bang is sa to sa nagikan siya sa spontaneous sa ganito spontaneous
Ano ni?
spontaneous generation, like from nothingness to something.
Something. Nothing
Mao na ang
later.
murag theory, ang beginning murag first part sa Big Bang na from nothingness na ay nabuo nga murag
Thing.
dense particle. Yeah, continue. Kinsa nagsunod sa kuha?
So,
Kanang the first element ka, girl.
so the Big Bang continued at mao na tong first element na produce siya kay tungod sa katong hydrogen, and then along with the traces of helium then and lithium, and then giant clouds of these elements coalesce through gravity to form stars and galaxies. So
Okay. Wait, i-share na lang nako bi para makita po ang picture. Ikaw na ani kinsa Ansa akong screen nga makita? Tingna daw ko. Ansa yung makita sa screen?
ato
Imong nang.
Unang lang.
imong now
Wala na yung shared
makita
screen
na
ako.
makita na ko yat
Kita man.
katong ang
Ay, sorry.
outline niya.
Sorry.
Okay. Isa sunod.
Ako, ma'am.
Go.
Angeli.
Mabasa.
Ay, sorry.
Saan ako?
So, mao na siya. Ako na lang basa? Dili mo maklaro?
Ako na lang cute kay ikaw may nagkuan.
The universe filled with ionic gas, ionized gas, and then the universe became neutral and opaque. And then the dark ages start. Galaxies and quasars begin to form. The reionization starts. And then the cosmic renaissance. And then nag-reionization complete. The universe became transparent again. Sa man eh? Time. Okay. Time since the Big Bang. The universe filled with ionized gas. After 300,000 years, the universe became neutral and opaque. Meaning opaque, meaning dili. Sa ganun ang opaque kanang dili transparent. And then after 500 million years, galaxies and quasars began to form. After 1 billion years, ang reionization of the universe was completed. Nag-transparent na pod ang universe. And then after 9 billion years, the solar system was formed. And then 13 billion years later, the astronomers figured it all out. Okay. Next. Stop.
Habos.
Asa si Neil?
Nawala siya daw. Pilit daw siya.
Okay, continue na lang ta. Hubble's law. Hubble's
Bisay
law
ka,
and go.
Ikaw, ge.
Naka-share screen?
Wala. Imuha basaha.
Asa na dapit?
Sunod na
Habos
tong kuan.
Sunod sa picture.
Baba na.
Habos
Asa na?
law on the
Katong PDF ba?
Wala, ay,
Katong black
wala.
ang yung back. Wala ka ato?
Okay. Ikaw na lang, Chris.
Hubble's law and the age of the universe. So, Edwin Hubble of 1920 discovered the expansion of the universe. Further galaxies are moving at a higher speed, forming the law of where V is equals to H d, where v is the velocity in kilometer per second, d is the distance in mpc, and h constant is the Hubble constant in kilometer per second per
And
mpc.
PC.
So the velocity is determined via the redshift of the spectrum and distance to the galaxy determined using observations of stars. Up until 1990s, the best estimates of Hubble constant were between 50 kilometer per second per mpc and 90 kilometer per second per mpc, giving a range of, on the age of the universe between 7 and 20 billion years.
So,
Basta, ano lang, the universe is constantly expanding.
mm-mm. So, so the universe composition, universe is 13.7 billion years old with an uncertainty of 200 million years. And then the WMAP value is Hubble constant is 71. So, tawag anong ano niya? 4 kilometer per second MPC. And then 70% of the energy of the present universe is in the form of dark energy. And that 26% of the energy is the form of cold or not thermalized dark matter, and the remaining of 4% of the energy is the atoms and the photons. Wala na gid si Neil. So, dust particles. So, the size is few molecules to few microns in size. Then, mass spectrometer in the satellites collect them then so they get stuck in aerogel and
Gel.
then gel then possesses scattering property and analyze studying the properties of light emitted by the dust
Okay.
or ISM interstellar matter
Matter.
IGM
Intergalactic
intergalactic
matter.
matter interplanetary dust particle or
Okay.
IDP.
The universe was homogeneous and there was little to no structure in it after Big Bang. And then, as the universe cooled, clumps of dark matter began to condense, and within them, gas began to condense. Large-scale structure of the cosmos we observe today was formed as a consequence of the growth of the primordial fluctuations. The primordial fluctuations gravitationally attracted gas and dark matter to the denser areas, and thus the seeds that would later become galaxies were formed. Nipilit na si Quizzy.
Pilit,
40 tons of
pilit ko mo.
extraterrestrial matter falls to Earth every day. What happens to Earth mass? Using the isotropic ratio, we can differentiate them from the common dust particle in the Earth. At this point, in the formation of galaxy, the universe was almost exclusively composed of hydrogen, helium, and dark matter. Soon after the first proto-galaxies formed, the hydrogen and helium gas within them began to condense and make the first stars, finally, the first galaxies that were formed. The discovery of a galaxy more than 13 billion years old, which existed only 480 million years after the Big Bang, was reported in January 2011. A structure distributed in a great cosmos